Thank you very much, Stavro. Good afternoon. I'm Yannis Kanelopoulos, very typical name, Greek name and surname. I have to say that I was in Amsterdam last week, and in the hotel I was staying, there was toothpaste. So we found a hotel that has a toothpaste. Today, I work for Code for Thought, and today, in the next 10 minutes, I will try to elaborate on the impact of what we call AI-leveraged software engineering will bring to the profession. A little bit about Code for Thought. I paraphrased our mission statement a little bit. So what we do essentially is we help large organizations like banks, telecom providers, government, to make sure that the software they develop, either a typical, let's say, web banking application or a credit score algorithm, is being built with trust and some thought behind it. We have a team which is very competent in reading code, understanding code, and we also explain what happens not only to the software engineers, but also to the management of an organization. Some months ago, ChatGPT came to our lives, and the unthinkable happened. So software engineers started becoming very concerned about the future of their work. And we got several questions from our clients about will we be needing software engineers within the next 5 to 10 years, or ChatGPT and Copilot will do the work for them. The plain answer is that we do need software engineers. The profession is safe, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. Then after that, I cannot promise. And why is that? First of all, let's just understand what we mean by AI-leveraged software engineering. So ultimately, we talk about the integration or the combination of three main technologies. The technology of natural language processing. So we give, let's say, to ChatGPT a piece of code, and we ask it to tell us what this code does. This can help enhance our code readability skills, and also this can facilitate the generate or automating the documentation of that part of code. This will also help the team to improve their communication, because having a description of a software artifact in human understandable mode, it helps teams with multiple, let's say, or multidisciplinary teams that have software engineers and business analysts to communicate better. The second pillar is the LLM-driven soft programming. What does this mean? That we use some existing samples from our code and we feed them to ChatGPT, and that gives us back more code. So we produce code not with instructions, but with examples. So the model, the program, learn from existing code to generate new code and new solutions. Last, but definitely not least, the hard programming. So the programming that we know as of today won't stop existing, of course. It will be complementary, or it will be decisive also for the future software development, as we foresee that all those technologies that we know, all these programming languages like Java, .NET, Python, will keep improving and will keep developing even further. And the main directions will be code control, security, which is becoming a very important aspect when it comes to source code, and also performance optimizations. So the promise of this integration or this combination is faster programming. So there was this paper from GitHub that came out last March. And one result that was remarkable and we were discussing with our team is that the study showed that GitHub Copilot the last 2 years produces 46% of the source code of all the participants in this study. And also developers started claiming that they became 55% faster in developing new code. But the main question is, does this ensure the success of a software project or the successful implementation of a software product? I will try to answer as a consultant. I will say it depends. Because there are some fundamental things in software engineering that we need to take into account. First of all is the so-called garbage in, garbage out. So the quality of the prompt we'll give to Copilot or ChatGPT has a direct effect on the outcome. So imagine if you are a senior software engineer that has been working with Java for 15 years, compare the prompt of this guy with the junior developer that came out fresh out of university. So you understand that the quality of the generated code will be very different. And also there is the risk that we talk about generating bad code, technical debt at scale with this kind of tools. The second reality in software engineering is that within the lifespan of a software product or system, 20% will go to its initial development and release to production, and the rest 80% will go to its support/maintenance, which means that the code that we initially generated using prompts definitely needs to change in the future. And that also is a main challenge for software developers, how to change the code that initially was generated by a tool. Do we need to regenerate it by updating the prompt, or do we have to go to the code directly and change it? Also, when it comes to support and maintenance activities, 90% of the time that a software developer spends is on program comprehension, which means that 90% of its time will go to read the code, understand it, assess the impact of the change, and then perform the change. And in that, we shall factor in that when we talk about software development, we don't just mean coding in the sense of typing code. We all know that in order to build a product, you need to elicit the requirements, you need to do the analysis, you need to do the design, and humans need to interact and communicate with each other, which always adds an overhead in the complexity of the project. So if we take, let's say, the promise of the AI-leveraged software engineering with the fundamentals of that same, let's say, thing, we can understand the constraints, but also the prospects in the future, which can be described in these three pillars. First of all, well, what can be the way forward for developers? I will do a spoiler, and I would say that the main, let's say, the future for the software developers in the next 5 to 10 years is the focus on quality. But before going there, let's go a little bit back and see how developers can employ productivity gains from the combination of NLP, LLM, and the hard programming. So first of all, by employing NLP and LLM, we can, let's say, free ourselves from the boring tasks. So boilerplate code, templates can be generated, and me as a developer can focus on the real deal, on the business logic, on the uniqueness of that business logic. In other words, I can focus on efficiency and innovation. Also, by using the capabilities of these tools, we can get ideas of solving complex problems. The problem solving is the #1 challenge that a software engineer faces in our profession, in the sense that first we need to solve the problem and then to implement it. Last but which is very important, if you talk with any CIO in the world, one of their main concerns is the lack of documentation of the software systems. So by using, let's say, NLP and LLM capabilities, we can solve, I think, that problem and generate more accurate technical documentation for the systems we develop. However, these new capabilities bring new risks to the table. So we have, let's say, all those anti-patterns that come with the use of ChatGPT and Copilot, like hallucination, like knowledge pollution, like misleading information, inaccurate information, or superficial information. Plus, sometimes it leads to the over-reliance of software developers on the outcomes, which comes at a risk. And the risk is to create code with maintainability issues, security issues, and that code can be generated at scale. So it will actually speed up let's say, the so-called fuck-ups in the system. But it is also another issue that we have with this is the trustworthiness and the ethical concerns that come come along. So if, let's say, we have a source code that propagates biases and carries biases from previous years or implementations, all this will propagate it in the future and may be enhanced. So what can be the role of software developer? To our view, to my view, is we're going to amplify the code reviews. We're going to amplify the human in the loop principle. So developers will spend more time in reviewing code and making more conscious decisions about the systems they build and the designs, instead of spending time of generating code or writing code from scratch. So, and we feel that the future for software developers is to review code, is to make sure that the code that is generated before it goes to production has no issues. So they are the gatekeepers of the source code and the softwares in the future. Thank you very much.